My boyfriend ruined my birthday to comfort his girl best friend. Then dumped me for her. Now they're dating, and I made sure they both regret it. I never imagined I'd be the kind of person to write something like this. I used to be the let people live type. I never liked drama. I never believed in ultimatums. I genuinely believed that if you loved someone, you respected their freedom, including their friendships. But then I met Zach, and more specifically, I met Allie, and everything I believed about trust and loyalty got dragged through the mud. Zach, 25 male, and I, 23 female, started dating almost 2 years ago. It was the kind of whirlwind, giddy, head-over-heels love you only get once or twice in your life. He was thoughtful, affectionate. The kind of guy who'd send long good morning texts, hold my hand in the car, talk about our future. We joked about baby names. He met my parents. I met his. We talked about moving in together after our leases ended. I truly thought he was it for me. But there was always this one thread that pulled at the seam of our relationship. His girl best friend, Allie, 24 female. They'd known each other since middle school. She was his ride or die, his platonic soulmate, as he called her. He made it clear from the very beginning that she was a part of his life. And honestly, at first I was okay with it. I wanted to be okay with it. I believe men and women can be friends. I don't think you should ever make a partner choose between love and friendship. I figured, if I just get to know her, it'll get better. Spoiler, it did not get better. The first time I met Allie was at a Halloween party. I'd heard about her nonstop for the first 6 weeks of our relationship. She was always texting him, sending him memes, tagging him in posts about childhood nostalgia or dumb jokes. Zach would always smile at his phone and say, "Allie sent this." When I met her, she gave me a tight, forced smile and a hug that felt more like a dare than a greeting. Then she turned to Zach and said, "I still can't believe you're dating someone. Didn't think you'd settle down before I did." She laughed. He laughed. I smiled, pretending it didn't sting. The entire night she clung to him, sat next to him on the couch, shared a blanket with him even though I was literally sitting on his other side. She brought him a drink without asking what I wanted. She called him Zachy, a nickname no one else used. And when I tried to talk to her, she was polite but dismissive. Barely made eye contact. One-word answers. And when Zach walked away to get something from the kitchen, she leaned over and said, "You're really different from his usual type." Smile. Sip of her drink. Like it was just casual girl chat. After that night, I told Zach I felt weird about her. Not even accusing, just voicing discomfort. He immediately shut it down. "She's just like that. She's protective of me. You're reading into it too much." He made me feel like I was making a mountain out of nothing, so I dropped it. Tried to keep the peace. I even started inviting Allie to things myself, hoping that if she felt included, the tension would ease. Instead, she ramped it up. She'd send Zach texts late at night like, "Can't sleep, just wanted to say I'm glad you're in my life. Wish we were still in high school watching old horror movies together. Life was easier then." If I posted a photo with Zach, she'd comment, "Aw, my fave boy." If he posted me, radio silence. She never liked any of the photos where I was tagged. She'd find ways to remind him of their shared history in front of me. She even gifted him a framed photo of the two of them at their 8th grade graduation for his 24th birthday. And Zach, he was blind. The breaking point wasn't a fight. It wasn't some massive betrayal. It was my birthday. We had it all planned. Dinner at a fancy restaurant, wine and dessert, then a hotel room I'd booked for us downtown. I was so excited. I bought a new dress, got my nails done, spent 2 hours getting ready. Zach picked me up, kissed my forehead, told me I looked unreal. I remember smiling so hard it hurt. Then halfway through the meal, his phone buzzed. He checked it, paused, said, "It's Allie." I didn't say anything. Then he looked up at me, serious. "She's having a breakdown. She says she doesn't feel safe and needs someone to talk to." I blinked. "It's my birthday." He nodded like he knew it was wrong but still stood up. "I'll just step outside and call her." He was gone for 52 minutes, I timed it. When he came back, he looked frazzled and distracted, sat down, barely touched his food, said, "She's going through a lot." We skipped dessert. I canceled the hotel. He dropped me off at home, gave me a tired "I love you," and left. I spent the night alone, on my birthday, in tears. The next morning I finally broke. I told him everything. How I felt like I was always second place. How Allie constantly disrespected our relationship. How he always defended her instead of seeing how much it was hurting me. And I told him he had to choose. Not because I'm controlling, but because no partner should ever have to compete for emotional space with someone their boyfriend insists is just a friend. He was furious. "You want me to abandon someone I've known for over a decade? You're jealous, insecure, you don't understand real friendship. Fine. If it's between you and Allie, then we're over." He walked out of my apartment. I cried for weeks, cried in the shower, in the car, on my lunch breaks. My heart felt like it had been torn out and stomped on. But the worst part? 3 weeks later, I saw their post. Zach and Allie, holding hands, smiling, caption, "Somewhere between friendship and forever." I almost threw up. So that's what it was. That's what I'd been feeling the entire time. She hadn't just wanted him close. She wanted him. And he played me until she said the word. But heartbreak fades, and once it did, I felt something new. Fury. And that's when I started planning. I knew Allie was applying for a graduate fellowship program. She had told me she needed glowing references and a clean record with her volunteer organization to get in. Guess who still had screenshots of her private Twitter rants and TikToks making fun of people she volunteered with, calling clients gross, mocking kids she worked with, saying things like, "Some of y'all pretend to be activists until a client breathes too hard." I sent those, anonymously, to the head of the organization, along with a concerned community member note. She lost her reference, her application, incomplete. Then I remembered a mutual friend who had once confessed that Allie had drunkenly kissed him while she was dating someone else. I encouraged him, gently, to tell her now boyfriend Zach. And he did. Fast forward a month later, Zach texts me, "I don't know what I was thinking. She's not who I thought she was. She's manipulative. She made everything about her. You were right. I'm so sorry." I didn't respond. He chose her, and he got exactly what he deserved. As for Allie, she's been radio silent. But mutual friends say she's been posting cryptic TikToks about fake people and losing everything at once. Boo-hoo, I'm moving on. I've started dating someone new. Kind, respectful, emotionally mature. Zach messaged me again not long after, saying he made a mistake. I left him on read. I thought that was the end. It wasn't. A few weeks ago, I get a message request on Instagram. It's from Zach, again. "Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to say something." I ignored it. 3 hours later. "I saw you posted with that new guy. I'm happy for you. I mean that. You deserve someone who actually gets it." I still said nothing. Then came a third message. "Allie and I aren't together anymore. Things got really bad." She said some stuff I can't forget. Okay, I was curious, but not enough to entertain a full convo. So I just replied, "Didn't she used to be your platonic soulmate?" No response. 2 days later, I got an email. A literal email. I thought only unhinged men in customer service used email for emotional closure, but here we were. It was long. Paragraphs, full of self-pity, but also full of truth. Stuff like, "I realized too late how manipulative she was. She made me believe you were trying to ruin our friendship when really, you were just setting boundaries. She hated that I loved you. I think she always did." I couldn't believe what I was reading. He admitted that Allie used our relationship to make him jealous, that she used to joke about how I wasn't his type, how he was too soft with me, how I didn't push him to be better. Then came the kicker. "I miss how safe I felt with you. I didn't realize how rare that was until I lost it." I didn't reply. Not because I didn't have thoughts. I had plenty. But because the best response to someone who destroyed you and only realized it once their new fantasy burned down is silence. But of course, Zach couldn't let it go. He showed up, at my job. I work in marketing at a co-working space that sometimes hosts open workshops. He showed up to one, unannounced, awkward, standing in the back pretending to care about social media strategy. Afterward, he waited by the elevator. "I just want to talk." I told him he had 60 seconds. He launched into this entire dramatic speech about how he's been in therapy, how he's realizing how much Allie controlled his decisions, how he projected his fear of confrontation onto me, and how I was the only person who ever truly loved him without strings. I didn't say a word the whole time. When he was done, he asked, "Do you think you could ever forgive me?" I looked at him, took a deep breath, and said, "You didn't just break up with me. You made me feel crazy for telling the truth. And now that the house you burned down is full of smoke, you're acting surprised the fire hurts." He didn't know what to say. I walked away. Since then, I've gotten a few "hope you're well" texts. He watches all my stories. I saw him make a private Twitter again and post vague, mopey stuff like, "Regrets a bitch," and "Sometimes you lose the one because of the many." Allie, from what I've heard, moved out of their shared apartment a month ago. Her grad school dreams are on pause. She's apparently been telling people some people tried to ruin her career. No names, though, wonder why. As for me, I'm still dating the same guy I posted with, and he's amazing. Supportive, secure. When I mentioned Zach's little elevator ambush, he just raised an eyebrow and said, "Wild. Sounds like a him problem," and went back to making dinner. No drama, no weird vibes. No girl best friend hovering in the background waiting to take my place. I thought that would be the end, but it wasn't. Because a few nights ago, Allie messaged me, and I still can't believe how wildly delusional this girl is. It started with a DM on my burner Instagram, the one I use to post art and rarely check. Her username didn't have her name anymore. Just some airy quote with a flower emoji. Her bio said, "Healing, growing, grateful." Here's what her first message said. "Hey, I know this is random and you probably hate me. I wouldn't blame you, but can we talk for a second?" I stared at the screen for a full 5 minutes. She had never once spoken to me like a real human being when I dated Zach. I was the girlfriend, the outsider. She'd treated me like I was some annoying obstacle she just had to outlast. And now she wanted to talk? I didn't reply. The next day she sent another message. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I didn't realize how much I was hurting people until recently. I'm in therapy now, and I'm trying to own my stuff. I know I crossed lines when you were with Zach. I was selfish." Still, no reply. Then, 2 hours later. "It's just, I don't really have anyone anymore. Zach and I broke up. He's been telling people I ruined his life, that I manipulated him. And now everyone thinks I'm some villain. I won't lie. That one made me laugh. Because when you build your house out of lies, you don't get to act surprised when it collapses. That night, I showed the messages to my current boyfriend. He read them, looked up at me, and said, "Please don't tell me she's about to ask you to team up against him." I shrugged. She's not that dumb. She was, because the next message? I was thinking, maybe it would help if people knew the full story. Like, if we talked, cleared the air, even just privately. Maybe we were both manipulated in different ways. I blinked so hard I think my lashes almost fell off. Now she wanted to bond over mutual destruction? After spending 2 full years disrespecting me, gaslighting me behind Zach's back, then dating him like she hadn't just destroyed my heart. She wanted to process this together? Nah, I finally replied. Not for her. For me. Allie, I don't hate you, but I also don't owe you a resolution. You got what you wanted. You played the long game and you won. For a minute. But what you lost? That's on you. She left me on scene, no response. Since then, she's unfollowed most of the people we had in common. She deactivated her TikTok. One of our mutual friends, who never liked her, told me she's been trying to rebrand herself as an empathy advocate on LinkedIn. Zach, meanwhile, is still lurking on my stories like a ghost. Every post I make with my boyfriend, every soft launch dinner date, every little win in my life, he sees it all. Quiet. Watching. He could have had a life with someone who loved him unconditionally. She could have stayed in her lane and respected my place in that life. Instead, they both burned it down, and then blamed each other for the smoke. I've moved on. You don't always get closure. You don't always get apologies in the form you hoped for. But sometimes, you get something better. Proof that you were never crazy, that you saw it clearly, and that their downfall had nothing to do with you, and everything to do with who they've always been.